Hello and welcome to part 2 of the preview show. Of course, we're looking ahead to this week's fixture against the Glasgow Tigers here at the sunny Armadale Stadium. I'm joined by a familiar face. He's normally in the Friday Focus, but he's making his debut here on the preview show. Is Graham Munsey. Graham, we've got a cracking show coming up tonight. We're going to speak to double league winner Andy Tully. We're also going to speak to Glasgow captain Aaron Summers, and we'll get to know Captain Sam Masters. But Graham, as we stand here looking across the Armadale circuit, you must be looking forward to Friday. It's going to be a cracker, isn't it?
Can't wait. It's the first one, the fixtures come out every year, and the first one you look for is, when are we got Glasgow? When are Glasgow coming? When are we going to Glasgow? We've not got as many matches as we used to have against them, and I think that's a good thing, because you used to see them 8 times a season, 10 times a season, Spring Trophy, Scottish Cup. Now every time you face them, it matters.
Of course, as you say, we don't face them a lot, which means the crowds are bigger. There's a lot more emphasis on it. Expecting a big Glasgow following this week, aren't we?
Definitely, their tails are up. They've got to be. You look at the success they've had on the track, off the track. We all know they've got a fantastic stadium there. They're sitting second in the league, I think, as we speak just now. Well, when they could go top, if that doesn't bring the fans through, then nothing will.
Of course. What we're going to do is we're going to go straight to Andy Tully here, and we're going to speak to Spud, and then we're going to look over both sides ahead of Friday's match. So let's go over to Andy now.
Joined at sunny Armadale Stadium by Andrew Tully, former Monarch's great. Looking ahead to the Glasgow match this week, Andrew. As a former rider, was it one you were always aware of on the calendar?
Yeah, definitely, I would say so. It's one both sides always get excited for, and I think it comes more for the fans side of things. You always hear the enthusiasm and the noise coming from them, especially when you get a heat win over the other side. So both will be pretty pumped up for it, I would say.
Did it add a little something to yourself, though, going up to the tapes and looking over and seeing that red and white against you? Was that something that G'd you up?
You just want to destroy them then, I suppose, don't you? Yeah, well, it's still the same as any other race that you would have had. You still want to win, but like I say, I think the enthusiasm comes more for the fans, where you can feel that buzz, and like you say, you look over, see the colours, and you want to make sure they're behind you at the end of the race. And
you had some great success with the Monarchs and against Glasgow in particular. Do you have any particular memories, any meetings or any heats against them?
Probably more so here, not so much over there. I think I did have the odd not too bad race around Glasgow, but I tended to have a lot more crashes than race wins, I think, along there. But yeah, there was a good few here, and usually against the likes of Screeney and Greavesy and things like that, you'd get some pretty good races around here. That's not so much in particular one, but in general.
And you mentioned that some great names to the past: Screen, Greaves, Parker would maybe be another one. Is there anyone you particularly enjoyed racing against, or anyone that always thought, right, I've got the making of him tonight?
In general, everybody, but I think Greavesy was always probably the one. Just I suppose with everybody being Scottish and rival sides, it was more added a bit more spice to it. Then you got a good race out of each other as well. You could trust each other. But yeah, that'd probably be the one I'd point out of everybody.
And obviously, you've maybe been away from the sport for a couple of years now. Do you still keep an eye on it? Are you still paying as much attention as you used to?
Yeah, more to like mates in the sport and things like that. So not as much as a whole, but always keep a little bit of an eye on what Edinburgh are doing. I've always been here since I was a young lad, obviously. So, but yeah, more like speak to mates and keep an eye on how mates are doing in it.
And have you been through the new Ashfield? Have you seen it since it's been done up?
Once or twice, yeah. So yeah, it's good. It's impressive. So it's a big change from what it used to be through there.
And you mentioned earlier on about the races you used to have with somebody like Greavesy. It's maybe a sad state of affairs for Scottish Speedway now that there's no one even at a Premier League or Championship level. Why do you think that is? What do you think we need to get back to having? I mean, I remember a team here with 6 Scottish riders at one point for the Monarchs.
Yeah, well, the same when just before that with the Devils as well. We had like an all Scottish side win the cup at that point. So a training track, I suppose. That's when we had Linlithgow, then it was a lot different. You had people coming through, had riders going there, getting the track time and things like that. So that's what you're missing, is somewhere to practice and bring people on. It's no good doing like a second half, although that helps, but you need to have the every week practice and get the laps in. So it'll help when Berwick's training track comes into play, because even though you've got north side, it's a little bit closer.
Yeah. And obviously, I mentioned when you're away for the sport now. Do you keep yourself busy? What is it you're doing with yourself these days?
Me, work and play pretty much. It's just work away, making plans for the future and things like that. And yeah, I've just stopped getting injured, I suppose. Yeah.
And we've seen you in a couple of test modules and stuff. Never had the urge to throw the kevers back on and swing it back over a bike?
No, it's I don't have that option really. I'd held off for long enough, and then when I done the Fishes meeting here, I showed how far away my body still was from being able to do it to the level I would want to. So even though some people didn't notice it as much, but I struggled a lot in that, and yeah, my body can't handle it. So yeah, you missed the buzz, but it's not an option.
And then lastly, just going back to this Friday, a prediction from yourself?
Edinburgh win.
Perfect. Thanks very much, Andrew.
No problem. Thanks.
Gate 5, Andrew Tully, I think it's James McBain, and Gate 2, it's Tigers number 8 anyway. Shane Parker, who might go ahead, no he doesn't. Andrew Tully nips in front. Parker again round the outside there, long way around, but he's got to the front. Great riding by Parker. And Tom Perry's in third. I don't think it is James McBain. I'm not sure who the Tigers number 8 is. I missed the announcement. Tully's straining every muscle to try and get to Parker. Cutting back. Oh, tremendous effort by Tully. He's gone roaring through there. Parker again on the outside line. What a brilliant effort by Andrew Tully there. Absolutely amazing. Come back on a man like Parker, and he's pulled off a win in a superb race, one of the best races of the season. Wonderful ride.
Of course, Graham, Andy, a veteran, so to speak, of the Glasgow Edinburgh, of course, but it meant more to Andy, really, because he, as he said in the interview, he was an Edinburgh fan first and foremost.
That's it, a local boy. I think he was club mascot to number 7 to number 1. Roy the Rover stuff, that. So, what's bigger than a local derby in any sport when you've been a fan all your days?
Exactly. It's a big miss to the sport, really, Andy. It's kind of a shame the way his career's ended, really.
It is. I think he'll admit himself he maybe fell out of love with the sport a little bit, and well-known speedway, if you're not going to put 100% in, you're not going to get anything out. So it's maybe the right decision, but particularly when we spoke to Andy there about the lack of Scottish riders, he's one that could still be going at this level, and it's a shame that we don't have him.
Of course, and we've seen a great race from him there as well. That's the stuff we miss.
I mean, he was famous. Everyone goes on about the Peter Carr cutback and the Peter Carr inside line. Was Andrew potentially better? I suppose it depends on your generation.
Of course, it depends who's seen you, yeah. We're going to cut now to Glasgow captain Aaron Summers. I spoke to Aaron the other day as we looked ahead to Friday's match. Aaron, Glasgow have got a very good record around Armadale in recent seasons. You guys confident in going there on Friday?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously the team's slowly picking up now, and I think there's definitely points there for us to pick up.
Edinburgh have obviously had a good start to the season alongside Glasgow. It's shaping up to be a cracker. It's going to be a tough match.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously Edinburgh's just reached the top, I think, after their meeting yesterday and that have you. So it's going to be tough, but I'm sure all the boys are up for it, and they know what the derbies are like now, so it's good.
You've got a strong top three, obviously yourself being a former Monarch. Richard and Richie already have had guest bookings there and done very well. Can you take confidence for that at all, or is it completely different kettle of fish when it's a derby?
Yeah, definitely. It helps them for sure. Obviously they've been there recently, and it's a bit more track time for them to get around there. And if setups have changed or anything, they can let any of us know anything that they use there them nights. So it's definitely a help.
Just looking down at reserve, Aaron, obviously you've got Jack and Tom down there. Tom's been going very well. Jack's had his troubles, but he seems to be getting there. Flip side being Edinburgh's got Mark going well and Mitchell, who's probably the same as Jack. Could it potentially be won and lost down at reserve?
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of teams this year, it comes down to what your reserves are doing for you. And Jack and Tom have been struggling a little bit, but we're all working with them and trying to get them better. So hopefully Friday can be a good meeting for us all.
Just looking at your season so far, Aaron, you busy enough, or could always be busier really?
I can always be busy. I'm only riding the one league this year. It's not enough. I'm sort of a week at a time off a bike. It's no good for the race sharpness, and I'm having to work as well, which I'd rather just race a bike all week as much as I can. So hopefully something will come up for me soon.
How do you think you started the season?
Good. Started at number 1. Average has gone up. So I can't complain about that. And the other boys have had good meetings as well, so it's really tight at the top for the points and that with us.
Just looking at Glasgow's form on the road, you've had some decent results, especially perhaps 10 points getting into the last heat absolutes, but that 5-1 gets you a point. That's what keeps you up there at the top of the table. Yeah,
definitely. All them little 1 points and that at the end of the year can all add up for you and make a big difference. we probably would have been a little bit closer. Richie didn't get a puncher in heat 13. So, the boys, we were down and it was struggling for a bit, and got things together and made the points back up and give it a big race in heat 15 to get the points secured.
Big thanks to Spud for joining us on the preview show. We're going to take a look at the two sides now, Graham. And as we look at the Edinburgh side for Friday night, of course, Sam Masters at number 1. How important is it that Sam gets back to the form we kind of expect of him now?
I think it's massively important. We all know, and we'll touch on it later on, how strong Glasgow are at the top end. So Sam should be and is potentially the number 1 rider in the league. He'll want to show that on Friday, and I think his form here has still been up to snuff. Maximum last week, maximum a couple of weeks ago when him, Eric and Ricky all went through the card, and he'll be looking to keep that going this week.
We take a look at the reserves as well here, Graham. Mark Chris, we see on this a 4-point average, but we're going to see in a minute his actual average for the season's up in mid-7s. He's had an impressive start. It's a key battle down there.
I think so, and that's maybe where we can take advantage. If I was looking at anywhere we can, Jack Smith, new to this level, maybe struggling a little bit. Tom Perry's had some good races round here, but the form Mark's in, and it's maybe a wee bit of a boon that we managed to get this match in before our averages change. As you say, Mark sitting almost doubling his average so far. He's one that, if he goes well, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, as we say, key battles all over the place here as well, and we can see the Glasgow lineup for Friday's match here as well. As I say, missing the night Cluna at number 2, Graham, RR there. Do you think that'll have a bearing on the match?
Yes and no. I don't think it weakens him too much because Richard Lawson gets a ride. I don't think anyone can argue that Lawson's a better prospect for a heat win than Nicky is. Who knows what Dan will do? Obviously, he was the big difference for us the other week when we're at Glasgow, and then it's up to the reserves again. If Perry and Smith are struggling, the fact that they need to take an extra ride each, it could tip it in our favour.
As I said, both sides are now sitting at the top of the division. Just Ipswich seem to be up there challenging for that top spot. Of course, Ipswich could come on level with points in Edinburgh on Thursday night. But as we take a look at the overall averages for Edinburgh, I mean, so far this season, Sam and Ricky averaging over 10 points at home. That just goes to show where our strength is really, and our 1 and 5.
I think so. Definitely, you've got Sam there. As I mentioned, set 2 maximums. Ricky's, I think, had 2 maximums as well. Only got beaten once last week. He reckons he's still not gating here yet. I mean, if he can find his gating boots here, he'll be unbeatable.
Of course. And just as we look at it here as well, as we say, Mark's averaging 7.41, Eric's 7.74, but really Mark's in there with 3.10, and in the second string, he needs to have a good meeting on Friday.
He does. He's one that we need to kick on a little bit. Promising signs last week. I think that was his highest home score last Friday. It was his joint highest away score at Peterborough, and we need him to continue that. If we can get, again, we're not asking for double figures for Max, but if we can get solid 5-6 points at home every week, I think we'll be nigh on unbeatable around here.
We see Mitchell there, he's averaging just over 3 points here. Before we take a look at the Glasgow averages, he needs to kind of score well as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Mitch, I think he's getting a little frustrated now that he's maybe the lamb to the slaughter a little bit when it comes to getting the 3 rides. But when you've got such a strong reserve as Mark alongside him, that's his job. He's continually beating the other team's number 7, and for me, that's his job. If I look at that scorecard at the end of Friday night and I see 3 points, 4 points, but every time he's been up against Jack Smith, he's beat him. He's maybe beat Tom Perry in there once. That's job done for Mitchell for me.
And as we look at Glasgow's away averages, when we look down at their reserve pairing, Tom Perry there, just a 3-point away average, but as we looked over, as we previewed the show here, Graham, Tom's actually averaging a lot more than that around this place. Pretty false away average considering coming here, and when you look at some of the other away averages of the top 3 in Glasgow, and of course Dan being a former Monarch, there's a lot of power there. This is where it's going to be tough for the Monarchs.
Definitely. As you mentioned there, Tom Perry, you remember way back to 2011, he actually rode 5 or 6 matches for us here, so he's got a lot of experience here, and we've mentioned that top 3. We've seen them all here this season. Okay, Summers maybe didn't have his best meeting here in the Scottish Open. I think he had a wee bit of machinery problem, but we all know what he can do here. Lawson won heat 15 for Sheffield the other week. Worrell paid for 14 points. And he's been lightning fast this season. He's been the man that's impressed me the most in that team so far this year.
A few of the guys as well, Graham, have maybe been complaining about starts. We spoke to Mitchell about that last week. it seems to have been a wee bit of a theme throughout the season, maybe guys maybe struggling to find a wee bit of setup, but of course just looking at it, we're sitting top of the league and guys are moaning that they can't quite get the setup. I fear for the rest of the league if once we do get a setup.
It's a good place to be. I'd rather be top of the league than moaning than bottom of the league and looking up and complaining and wonder what's going wrong. Winning breeds winning, and we've started off well. I think we've spoke to Sam. He's had some issues with clutches. Is it maybe the new tyres aren't getting the same grip? We've spoke to Mitch. We know Josh isn't over happy with starting Ricky. So we're top of the league, and these guys think there's more to come. That's not a bad place to be.
Of course. Just to speak to you slightly about Peterborough on Sunday, that was an excellent point, wasn't it?
Unbelievable. We went down there minus Eric with a Conference League in, minus Mark with Danny Ayres, and we've got to thank Danny Ayres for his performance. I think I wasn't there myself, but by all reports his crash in Heat 14 was absolutely frightening, so to get up and still manage the second place in the rerun, 8 points I believe he got. Would Mark have got us any more? Who knows? I don't think you can ask for any more for a guest. So if you'd offered me a point on Sunday morning, I'd have bitten your hand off. Josh again, he amazes everywhere he goes. We know he likes these big tracks. We've seen him at Berwick, Scunthorpe. The guy's riding with basically one good hand, and he's still out there throwing it into the dirt and going round people for fun.
The amazing stat is he's actually averaging a higher average away from home than at home.
It's unbelievable. You're never sure what you're going to get when you bring an Aussie over. You're always hoping you're going to hit a winner. We've got a good record in the past, and I think we've hit another winner here.
We're going to go to one of our regular features now here on the preview show. We're going to get another 2 classic races from Edinburgh versus Glasgow from Mike's Blast from the Past.
Heat 13, Parker, Fisher, Chesak and Weathers. And the Tigers much better off the start. Oh, the Monarchs getting themselves tangled up on the outside there. Parker and Chesak lead the way. Fisher cuts up the inside. He's gone inside Parker there, and he's gone roaring inside Chesak as well. Fantastic stuff. Fisher and Parker now contesting the lead. That's fabulous stuff. Fisher's very wide there though. Parker's got past him. Fisher trying to battle back. Cuts down the inside. Best race of the night. But Fisher wants to be careful. He's already picked up one exclusion. Parker round the outside. And it's neck and neck. And Fisher leads into the last lap. Fabulous racing. Now Parker ducks to the inside. And he's going to come through, is he? Almost alongside Fisher there. What a battle. Parker goes to the front and he wins a fabulous race. That was a sensational speedway, and it was a win for Shane Parker, but a wonderful 4 laps of speedway there in very difficult conditions. Absolutely tremendous. Heat 15 then, can Shane Parker complete a maximum? Daniel Nermark did it last week, and Shane Parker's been, if anything, more dominant tonight. He's on gate 1. Matthew Weathers rides from gate 2. Trent Leverington in gate 3. And William Lawson in gate 4. Parker leads. Lawson's quite well away there. And he's on Parker's tail, but he's just lifted at the wrong moment there as he tried to get inside Parker down the back straight. I think that'll be it. He looked for a second as though he might find the pace to catch Parker, and I'm sure he'll continue to try very hard. But nobody's been able to make any ground on the Tigers' top man so far. Lawson trying some audacious cutbacks, and he's got speed there, but he's of course losing the same amount as he goes into the turn. Look at this from Lawson. Whoa, almost came off, almost caught Parker and almost came off as well. It's an exciting effort by Lawson, and look at this, he's trying a clever up the inside one, and he won it. Oh, what a superb last turn by William Lawson to snatch away Parker's maximum. That was absolute brilliance from William Lawson, and Parker congratulates him warmly there. He appreciates the intelligence of that riding by William Lawson. That was absolutely outstanding.
Samuel Masters. Wolverhampton Wolves. Edinburgh Monarchs, Ostrov, I don't know how to say the rest of it, Outrup in Denmark, and Lejon, Sweden. It'd have to be Heat 15 when we beat Somerset in the final in 2014. Me and Cookie getting the 5-1 to win the league. Probably Hans Nielsen, Tony Rickardsson, maybe Lee Adams, because I've never raced against Lee Adams before. Hans Nielsen was one of the best in the world, and Tony Rickardsson was the best in the world ever. Everyone wants to be world champion, don't they? Probably Edinburgh, because suits my style, and probably because it's in Edinburgh. I could have been a soccer player for probably Australia, or Newcastle Jets, where I'm from in Australia.
Thanks to Mike for providing some classic action over our bumper edition two-show preview show this week. Again, just to kind of finish this off, Graham, it's a huge match, bags of history involved, bragging rights, as you said a couple of weeks back. We all know Glasgow fans, and it's all about having the bragging rights come Saturday morning, but there'll be even more bragging rights for the fact that one of us are going to be top of the league.
It is, I mean, for this early in the season, I don't think it gets much bigger. You know, normally your big matches are September, October, but we're sitting here, went into May as we speak. We're top, Glasgow are second, Ipswich are thereabouts as well. But yeah, you know, somebody's leaving here on Friday night, top of the league, feeling pretty good about themselves. And we've both got other matches over the weekend, so you know, you don't want to be going into those on a downer. Whoever wins this is on a high, going into those further matches, and who knows what points are ahead.
Course. After you've watched this preview show, flick over to the website, get your tickets for this huge match on Friday night, and we'll hope to see you then. From me, Graham, and everybody who's joined us this week, thank you.